chamber to the people. Let the voices ring. Laws are made. Debates take the wing.
I know we are going to be reposed with responsibilities.
Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Watch the Senate and the House of Representatives, where decisions flow. The Parliament, the place to know. The Parliament, see power at play. The Parliament, your window into democracy at work, only on Global Television. Hello and welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament, which deliberates on legislative policies from the chambers of the National Assembly to the voices shaping Nigeria's democratic journey. Welcome once again. I am Anieti Patrick. It's good to have you join us on this episode of the program. Each week, we bring you the latest decisions, debates, and development from the heart of the legislature, the bills shaping national policy, the motions addressing citizens' concerns, and the oversight actions holding the government accountable. Meanwhile, on this episode, Nigeria's Senate has launched a probe into the collapse of crypto billion exchange Cybex as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission reveals it has traced over $46 million in cryptocurrency transactions linked to the scheme. The disclosure came during a public hearing on proposed amendments to banking laws aimed at tightening regulations and curbing the rise of Ponzi operations across the country. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has confirmed it is prosecuting Nigerian promoters of the failed crypto billion exchange, Cybex, over their alleged involvement in a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme. Speaking at a public hearing organized by the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, EFCC's representative Dane White disclosed that forensic investigations uncovered significant cryptocurrency transactions linked to the scheme. According to him, detailed blockchain analysis traced more than $46 million in stablecoin USDT to digital wallets identified as collection points operated by the promoters.
The record that was held on the blockchain when investigation did analysis of what has come in to that wallet that we identified as the collection wallet by the promoters, by CBEX, read for over $46 million if you convert it. Because the virtual asset that was going in was a stable coin, and it's one of those assets that is backed by a commodity one for one, which is dollar, USDT. And the victims that we have been able to identify, within this period from only two states, which is Lagos and Ogun, just above 1,200, but we believe there are more. Now, when we looked at what happened to the flow of funds, we found out that these monies will come into the wallet and it kept on bouncing off different wallets on the blockchain.
The hearing was convened as part of deliberations on a bill seeking to amend the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act. This followed a motion calling for a comprehensive investigation into the operations of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria with particular reference to the CBEX incident. Chairman of the committee, Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, said the amendment is aimed at strengthening regulatory oversight and preventing future financial fraud.
We are addressing two issues of national significance. One, the consideration of the bill for an act to amend the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020, SB 959, and the motion mandating an investigative hearing into the operations of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria, with particular reference to the recent crypto bullion exchange, CBEX.
Declaring the hearing open on behalf of the President of the Senate, Senate Leader Senator Opeyemi Bamidele stressed that broad stakeholder engagement remains critical to restoring public confidence in Nigeria's financial system.
Stakeholder engagement strengthens legislation and ensures that our laws are informed by practical realities. The Senate will carefully consider all submissions and recommendations presented here today.
Also speaking, Deputy Governor for Financial System Stability at the Central Bank of Nigeria, Philip Ikeazo, welcomed proposed innovations in the amendments bill, particularly the creation of a registry for systematically important financial institutions. As investigations continue and prosecutions advance, lawmakers say the proposed amendments to banking regulations are expected to close existing loopholes and shield Nigerians from emerging digital financial scams. The House of Representatives Committee on Finance has rejected the revenue presentation by the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company, citing incomplete documentation and gaps in its submission. Lawmakers say the agency must return within 1 week with comprehensive records for proper scrutiny. The resumed revenue monitoring session of the House Committee on Finance turned tense as lawmakers expressed dissatisfaction with the presentation by the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC. Members of the committee said the agency failed to provide critical supporting documents needed to assess its revenue profile. Chairman of the committee, James Faleke, directed MBED to return with complete and detailed documentation within 1 week.
GENCO money is private sector money. If DISCO pays us for the energy of taking, we are supposed to apply that money to pay GENCOs. So, and some of those times we provide treasury clarification that this is GENCO money.
Minister of Finance to appear before us on Tuesday and come and defend the reasons why individuals should bear the brunt or should lead us into debt.
Lawmakers, including Stanley Adedeji, raised concerns over discrepancies and missing records in the agency's submission, stressing the need for transparency and accountability in revenue reporting.
I would like to raise a motion that we step them down for 2 reasons. Number one, this submission is not legible. And number two, we have about 70-something members, over 100 members of this committee, and for us to receive only 5 submissions, I think it's just inadequate. And I would like for you to please allow that we step MBED down for today. The whole discussion around you are a revenue generator regardless.
Similarly, the National Sugar Development Council stepped down its presentation, citing inadequate documentation. The committee also directed other affected agencies, including the Federal Ministry of Finance and the Corporate Affairs Commission, to complete their submissions and reappear before the panel within 1 week. Chairman James Faleke maintained that only thorough documentation would enable the National Assembly to carry out effective legislative oversight and ensure all government revenues are properly accounted for.
Which is Tuesday next week, by God's grace, or Wednesday next week. Today's Wednesday. Wednesday next week, to appear before us, and you must have submitted those documents to us before. All right? And when you are coming to all the sugar allotees or allocations, the allocations you have made, make it part of your documents.
The committee says the exercise is part of efforts to strengthen revenue monitoring and enhance funding support for upcoming federal budgets. The House of Representatives Committee on Finance has flagged off its revenue monitoring exercise for the 2023 to 2025 fiscal years as part of efforts to boost funding for the 2026 budget. Chairman of the committee, James Faleke, says the annual engagement with revenue-generating agencies is aimed at uncovering all government funds to support the 2026 appropriation bill once passed. Let's take a listen. First to appear before the panel was the Registrar of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Hussaini Magaji. Lawmakers expressed displeasure over his failure to provide required documents and directed him to reappear next week, Tuesday.
Issue of filing of annual returns. These are one of the issues that we inherited. There wasn't no serious drive of enforcing that compliance for people to file annual returns.
If this man is not competent to handle this agency, I don't think you should stand before us and start telling us you don't have records. If you cannot speak to us factually, I think we should step you down and bring you back another day.
The managing director of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Olubunmi Kuku, told the committee the agency generated 8 billion naira in 2023 but lost revenue due to debt owed by defunct and operating airlines. She added that FAN recorded 17.5 million passenger traffic across domestic and international flights in 2023.
For the revenue that we generate, for every passenger that flies, we have a percentage of revenue that comes to us. For that revenue, sir, some of it we collect directly, but others we do not collect directly. That's why I gave the example of IATA.
Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashiru Adeniyi, said the service realized 3.2 trillion naira in 2023, attributing the figure to a slow start in the first half of the year. He noted that customs generates revenue from import duties, excise duties and fees, but highlighted bottlenecks in meeting the projected 11 trillion naira target for 2026. Lawmakers commended the service performance and urged it to improve.
When I mention this, I'm sure that you are familiar with the fact we will rather want to make 13. But if you permit me to explain that there is still a hanging issue about the Finance Act. The aspect that says we should have 3 trillion naira from excise, addition of some products to excise, has not been done yet.
The target of 11 trillion to us as a committee of finance is very critical. And anything that will inhibit the achievement of that, we'll be ready to work with you.
Meanwhile, on the sideline of the 2026 budget defense, FAN MD Olubunmi Kuku told journalists that the agency cashless policy introduced mid-last year has begun yielding positive results following sustained awareness and implementation efforts.
The fact that FAN is introducing cashless cards does not mean that that is the only mode of payment at our point. It just means that we're not collecting cash. There are at least 4 methods of payments, especially at the toll gate, which has been creating a lot of the traffic.
Earlier, the committee declined the appearance of the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, insisting that the Minister of State for Finance, Doris Uzoka Nite, must personally appear before it. The revenue monitoring exercise continues daily until all revenue-generating agencies are reviewed. Still, players in Nigeria's fintech sector have expressed differing opinions on the proposed creation of the Nigerian Fintech Regulatory Commission. While some support the move, others warn it could create overlapping mandates and duplicate the roles of existing regulators. The public hearing organized by the National Assembly's Joint Committees on Digital and Electronic Banking Regulations, Science and Technology Communications, and Capital Markets and Institutions aimed to gather input from leading fintech operators on the proposed bill. Lawmakers, however, stressed the importance of the proposed body in safeguarding citizens' hard-earned funds and closing regulatory gaps while maintaining harmony within the sector.
This bill, HB 2389, seeks to address these challenges in a structured and comprehensive manner. The bill before us today is also designed to establish the Nigerian Fintech Regulatory Commission as a specialized and independent regulatory authority with the mandate to provide coherent oversight of fintech activities.
Nigeria FinTech Regulatory Commission, if established, will enforce standard rules, codes of practices for operators and investors. For the customers, the Commission will adequately protect them from digital frauds and build their trust in digital platforms. Generally, this Commission will sufficiently protect the interest of fintech investors and customers by implementing policies and measures that safeguards them from fragmented regulations and ensure they enjoy reasonable rates.
During presentations, fintech operators warned that a parallel regulator could raise compliance costs, reduce investor confidence, and slow innovation. They recommended retaining the Central Bank of Nigeria as the lead regulator with stronger coordination among the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, and the Securities and Exchange Commission.
OPE respectively recommends that the House of Representatives adopts a single-led regulator model anchored by the Central Bank of Nigeria. 2, clearly define interagency coordination to avoid duplication. 3, embed proportional risk-based supervision in the legislative framework. 4, provide phased implementation timelines for any new obligations. And 5, ensure legal certainty and transition protections for existing license holders.
So it's going to result in duplication of regulations and regulators, right? And for us, this can create significant compliance burden, and it creates a problem. I'll give you a simple example. Fairmoney is a bank licensed, a microfinance bank licensed by the CBN, and we are licensed to take deposits. There is no other body that can give you that license except the CBN. So, in essence, what this particular bill will do is add another regulator to Fairmoney, because the CBN will still continue to regulate us because we take deposits. We still have FCCPC and NITSTA. And so this creates significant compliance burden and costs for the operators.
At the close of the hearing, the committee acknowledged the recommendations and promised to consider them carefully.
The technical committee will look at all those agencies who have relationship with this bill, and we are going to look into it and look at where the fear of overlap is strengthened. By the time you strengthen an institution, people are accusing the CBN for having so much complexity. Therefore, if there is need to remove or to reduce this responsibility, it can be done so that we can have the best thing for the country, so that the investors can have confidence and invest both foreign and local.
The bill seeks to establish the Nigerian FinTech Regulatory Commission with powers to impose penalties for corporate offences, fines of up to 1 million naira or imprisonment for the first-time offenders, and up to 5 million naira or 3 years for repeat offences. It also empowers the Commission to appoint officials or inspectors to monitor compliance, inspect premises, and request relevant documents with proper authorization. The Senate has ordered the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to account for and refund a staggering 210 trillion naira following findings of unexplained and irregular financial records spanning 2017 to 2023. The demand came from the Senate's Public Accounts Committee after reviewing the company's audited statements. The Senate's Public Accounts Committee has accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited of failing to properly account for 210 trillion naira in its financial records. Chairman of the committee, Aliyu Wadada, disclosed the findings during a press briefing, saying the company could not satisfactorily explain 103 trillion naira recorded as accrued expenses and 107 trillion naira listed as sundry receivables. The committee also raised concerns over duplicated subsidy claims, inflated production costs, and 5.9 billion naira allegedly spent on a name change exercise, actions lawmakers describe as unacceptable.
Liability subtracted from asset. But in this case, the liability figure is unacceptable to the committee because of the contradictions in the explanations, and also the asset figure, which is the accrued receivables, 107 trillion, is also not acceptable as well to the committee. So NNPC should and must account for the two figures. Then the two figures put together make up 210 trillion. The second resolution of the committee, that the NNPCL should refund to Treasury all production costs charged against crude oil revenue for the period under review, since the NNPC and its subsidiaries, NAPIMS and Co., do not directly produce crude oil.
In response, the committee has resolved to summon both past and present management of NNPCL alongside officials of NAPIMS and the company's external auditors to provide detailed explanations for the discrepancies. Lawmakers further directed the Auditor General to conduct a forensic audit of the company's accounts to ensure transparency, accountability, and proper management of public funds.
Immediate past management of NNPC and NAPIMS and their auditors to be laid by the present NNPCL management to provide clearer explanations regarding how these infractions happened, which will further enable the committee to take measures that will forestall future occurrences in the management of public funds. Immediate management of NNPC and NAPIMS, here what we are saying, immediate past management is, of course, Mele Kari as the group managing director, Umar Ajia as the chief financial officer, and Bala Wunti as the then GGM NAPIMS, should and must appear before the committee and to be laid by the present management with the entire body of the external auditors that served within the period under review that put together this. 4. That the Auditor General for the Federation should carry out forensic audit review of the audited financial statements of the NNPC for the period under review in line with Section 85 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended.
The Senate says it is committed to ensuring full accountability in the management of Nigeria's oil revenues, stressing that all discrepancies must be clarified in the interest of transparency and public trust. Meanwhile, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has reminded members of the National Assembly that beyond their constitutional powers, they remain accountable to God for every decision and every law they enact. The admonition came at the commissioning of the newly completed National Assembly Chapel in Abuja. The dedication of the National Assembly Chapel marked the completion of a project first conceived during the 6th Assembly and formally initiated in the 8th Assembly by former Speaker Yakubu Dogara. Addressing lawmakers, clergy, and senior government officials, the First Lady described the occasion as historic and deeply personal, recalling her 12 years in the Senate where Christian legislators held fellowships in committee rooms due to the absence of a dedicated worship space. She said while lawmakers represent over 200 million Nigerians, they must remember they ultimately answer to God.
Oh my God, may your eyes be open and give ears attentive to the prayers made to you in this place. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. This is the Lord's response to our prayer in 2 Chronicles 7, 15 to 16. As we dedicate this chapel today, may it inspire humility in leadership, courage in decision making, and compassion in service. And may Nigeria continue to flourish as we collectively seek the face of God in worship.
In his remarks, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, described the structure as more than a building, calling it a spiritual milestone for Nigeria's democracy. He stressed that governance must be guided by conscience and divine wisdom.
And unless the laws of men reflect the justice of God, they may command obedience, but they will never command reverence nor shape the destiny of humanity.
Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, said the chapel symbolizes accountability under God's sovereign authority, especially at moments where debates threaten national interests.
In chambers where debate can become combative and politics can become consuming, the fellowship has kept alive the reminder that we are first and foremost accountable to the higher calling. This chapel is a physical expression of that accountability.
Former head of state Yakubu Gowon urged lawmakers to prioritize national unity, while former Speaker Dogara emphasized repentance and forgiveness as keys to national healing. The exhortation was delivered by the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, Matthew Hassan Kuka, with prayers offered for Nigeria and its leaders. The ceremony drew top political figures and religious leaders, reinforcing what speakers describe as the enduring intercession between faith and governance. Well, that's the size of the program. Thank you for staying with us on the Parliament. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. To stay connected, kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG. Until we come your way the next time, I am Aniti Patrick, and from the whole production team, we say thank you for watching.